Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Players Take, episode 101. I am your host, Justin DeSimone, joined by my co-host, my most anticipated game of 2021, Montrell Rice.
What?
I told you I was going to come up with it on the fly, and that's the best I could do. So I don't even know what that means, what I said,
I
by the way.
don't either. I don't either.
We don't need to explore it too deeply. So for those of you who haven't listened before, this is our weekly show where we talk about video games, video game news, and other topics pertaining to video games. We post at 6 a.m. Central Time on Fridays on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, and your favorite podcast app of choice. Also, we forgot to mention this at the top of the show. Please send us some questions. If you have questions for the show on any kind of news story that you see out there or something we've talked about previously that you'd like to follow up on, please send us questions. You can do so on Twitter at iTrap for the Hokage for Montrell. Number 4, not the word. I'm at Thunder01. The show's at the Players Take. Or you can send us a question to our email address, theplayerstake01@gmail.com. Please do that. We would love to be able to throw your questions in the middle of the show, answer them. It'd be a great way to kind of fill out the show as well and get some audience interaction.
You have a question for you, for the viewers or the listeners, rather. It's 2 questions actually. You can pick one and choose and respond either in the email, as you mentioned, or on the Twitters. The first question is, what was your first Pokemon game? This will help me solve your age if you're listening to us. And then the second one is, what is your most anticipated game of 2021? Oh, take it away, Justin.
Thank you, Montrell. Okay, so I mean, Montrell, hold on. We got to break the ice. How are you doing, man? How's life? You know, it is.
This has been a pretty couple. This past week, I've been doing a lot of soul searching, so I'm in the transition of just getting things done and career wise and life wise and stuff like that. But besides that, today, day of recording is inauguration day. I know I said I wasn't gonna get political, but holy fuck, November felt like 3 years ago. What the fuck?
Dude, to think I voted 2.5 months ago feels like I'm like, huh? That was only 2.5 months ago. That
Only
feels
2.5 months.
I feel like I was 3 years younger. Bonkers, man. But
yeah, I'm happy everything went through smoothly. Nothing really happened today. So yeah, I mean, I think things are finally starting to get back to normal. Hopefully we can get this pandemic under control and everything of that nature. So I am very hopeful. So that has been a major boost to my stress as far as like de-stressing me.
Same.
Yeah. How about you though?
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice for the pandemic to get under control because then we could record in person again. Remember when we did that? I was thinking about that the other day, dude. Remember when we did that, Montreal? What was the last time we recorded in person? Like almost a year ago?
It had to be.
Like it was probably February, right?
I think our last episode was in February, and then the pandemic happened.
Right. So, man, yeah. It feels like a million years ago. That podcast that we were doing back then does not feel like the same podcast we're doing now. It's kind of bonkers.
Definitely does it. It definitely does it.
So yeah, that'll be nice for sure. I was thinking about board games too, man. You know, we for the listeners, we have a group of friends we play board games with. We used to play pretty frequently, but obviously the pandemic kind of threw that out the window. And I am really kind of getting a hankering to get back into that, man. So I'm hoping this can end soon, sometime soon. Cause yeah, I want to see my fucking friends again. Feels like it's been forever.
Before this, we were like super antisocial and stuff, but now it's like, yeah, I just want to get back out there and it's crazy.
Right. So yeah, that's life. Hopefully things are on the upswing for everybody. But here on this show, everything's always on the upswing. This show is always on the up and up. It has to be. So this week, not a normal episode. We told you last week we were going to do our anticipated games of 2021, and that is exactly what we're doing. We are not doing the normal run of the show, so there will be we're not doing games we're playing, even though we are playing games. We're going to leave that for next week. There has been news, but we're not going to talk about it this week. It will be next week, so you will get a supersized episode next week, more than likely, probably somewhere in the realm of 2 hours, because we have a giant list of anticipated games that Montrell and I have put together, and we're going to talk about each one of them. So Montrell, I mean, do we want to just jump right in?
Yeah, we can just do that.
All right, let's do it. So, first game that we have on the list here is The Medium, which is actually coming out in a week, January 28th. So, Montreal, you had this one on your list. I am also interested in this game as well, but give me your thoughts on it. What's exciting you about this one?
The dual thing they got going on there. I like scary games, so this one
Mm-hmm.
looks pretty creepy. It doesn't look
Mm-hmm.
like scary, but it looks more so like a psychological thriller, which hasn't really been done too much in video games. I think the last game I remember that did like a psychological thing was either
Mm-hmm.
Eternal Darkness, or if you want to go way back, well, I think it's the same generation actually. Eternal Darkness or The Suffering, that was on the PS2.
Yeah.
When sometimes the game would just randomly freeze, and that was a part of the game.
Mm-hmm.
So I like games like that. Or if you want to say current, like PT, I think that was like a really good.
Mm-hmm.
Even though it had jump scares, it had really good
Right.
psychological elements to it as well. And I think
Right.
this game is going to be more on the psychological side instead of jump scares. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm really looking forward to it. I love the trailer and that dual world thing that's they got going on. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, this game definitely stood out to me when it was shown. This is an Xbox console exclusive, so you will not be able to play it on PlayStation. But it is coming on PC as well, same day. So it
Okay,
is not
cool.
completely exclusive to Xbox, but that's always been that's Microsoft's strategy with these games, anyways. Yeah, the dual, so the whole like dual perspective thing, it kind of looks like a split screen game, but you're literally playing the character on both screens,
Yeah.
which is interesting. I'm not even sure how the control of that is actually going to work, honestly. But to be honest with you, though, the game looks really appealing. Unfortunately for me, I don't know if I have the I don't even honestly I don't know if I have the balls to play this game because it does look pretty scary. Not gonna lie, and I am not a big scary movie game person. Honestly, I've never really been into that stuff, so I'm not sure I'm going to check this game out, but I will be very intrigued by your opinion of it because it does look like a really unique take on the genre. So yeah. Anything else you want to talk about with that one?
No, I just think it looks pretty cool. I'm interested to see how people would justify it since it's a Xbox exclusive. People probably going to hate on it, but I think it looks fucking awesome. So
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure it will get a lot of hate just for the fact that it's an Xbox exclusive. Oh, I can't play it on PlayStation? Fuck that game.
yeah, exactly.
Okay. Our next game that we have listed is Control, the Control Upgrade, which is also coming out very soon. I believe February 2nd. It is coming out on, pretty sure on all platforms. So this game, obviously, this game came out in 2019, so it's actually a fairly old game, but this is basically the next gen upgrade of it. And this is important because the game, when it came out, just did not run well, from what I understand, on current gen consoles, and that was the
Okay.
biggest issue with it. So
I
this
didn't I didn't
upgrade
hear
is
that. That's what happened. I didn't hear that.
yeah. Well, it's because the game was using ray tracing, even on PS4 and Xbox One,
Really?
which
Holy shit.
yes, and they were trying to push that. It was important to the game.
Okay.
So as a result, the game kind of ran poorly. However, these new consoles can hopefully handle what they wanted to do here with this game. So this is probably going to be the most complete version of this game. So that does make it appealing. I've heard really good things about it too. So I don't again probably not a game I'm going to be jumping into myself right away, but one that intrigues me for sure. What about you though?
Um, actually looking really forward to this game. One of my followers, he doesn't really tweet too much, but he does tweet about a lot of video games. He tweeted about this, and me and him had a conversation about it, and it looks. He told me it was cool, and then the gameplay footage I did see from the upgrade, like the upgraded gameplay footage they showed me or that I
Hmm.
saw. It looks really fucking cool. It looks really good in 60 frames and even in the 30 frames with the ray tracing and everything of that nature. Like it's a true upgrade.
Mhm.
Like there are reflections and everything of that nature. Like it's really fucking cool. So
Yeah.
it looks really cool to me. Unfortunately, I think this game just went under my radar for some reason,
Yeah.
and I don't remember why.
It went under a
Um,
lot of people's radar.
okay,
It didn't sell very well.
okay. I know it's one of those games that kind of came back in sales though. Like as time progressed and people start learning
Mhm.
about the game, a lot of people did start buying it. I know this is the same team that made what's that game on Xbox?
Quantum
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 Break.
Break. Yeah,
Yeah,
Quantum Break.
yeah.
Yep.
So I mean, that team's they always have ambition, but it's like sometimes their follow through is not where they needed to be. But I feel like
Well,
this game
mhm.
is going to be the exception to that rule.
Well, remember they got purchased by Epic this
Ah,
past
that's
year.
true.
So they have money now backing them. So their future development is going to be of high interest to me as well. So this it'll be interesting to see though how people react to this game with it running hopefully at its best, performance level that it can, to see if this game kind of gets a new life kind of now, as a more next gen game. So because when it came out, that's the impression I got, is that it was kind of supposed to be a next gen game, but it just kind of came out a year early, you know. So yeah. Okay, our next game, Mass Effect Legendary Edition. This is coming in March. We talked about this last week. I don't We don't need to stay on this too long, but I'm very excited for this game. I'm very excited to jump back into the original trilogy, play it on my consoles, and actually like maybe platinum it potentially. So we'll see. We'll see. Montreal, what about you? You're stoked for Mass Effect?
Yes. I kind of bummed myself out because I played it earlier this year during the pandemic, or rather,
Yeah.
I played it earlier last year during the
hmm
pandemic, and I stopped at Mass Effect 2 for some reason.
I did the same thing.
Or no, was it Mass Effect 2 or 3? I stopped in the middle of 3.
Okay.
It was the middle of 3. I stopped in. Fuck, or was it 2? I don't fucking know. I think it was 2. But yeah, I did the same. I stopped in the middle of it for some reason, and I didn't finish it. Um, but I'm looking forward to the upgrade. The only thing is, I want to play it on the Xbox because I played it on Xbox, so I have to find me a fucking Xbox, and I did find a couple links. I just haven't because I just don't feel like pulling the trigger on it for some reason. So, but
hmm
I am looking forward to this game. Um, and I'm looking forward to buying like 3 people the game so they can experience the shit too. So,
Yeah,
any
yeah.
more to get fans. So,
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it because it's going to be enhanced, obviously, and I'm hoping that means load times are quick. Things are smoothed out because the game still was kind of janky, to be honest with you. Even on PC when I played it last. So this series is kind of in need of a touch up, in terms of bringing it back to like at least somewhat modern standards, in terms of graphics and stuff, and just performance. So in that regard, I'm excited to jump back into it. I definitely will. I don't know if I'm going to play Mass Effect 1 again, because I literally did that a year ago. And I don't know if I have it in me to do that again so soon, but we'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
I think that's the biggest thing. I don't want to stay on this for too long, but I think that's the
mhm,
biggest thing upset for me. And as far as
mhm,
this whole collection is I really wanted them to at least remake one game, and I think one should have been remade.
yeah.
Um, I like the story. I don't think anything should be done with the story or anything like that. I just want the gameplay to be kind of updated. You can even keep the RPGs gameplay, but
Yeah.
just kind of update it.
Montreal, imagine Andromeda's like gameplay with Mass Effect 1's story and world and everything. Like,
That actually would fit. That they should have
oh,
done that. I wouldn't
shit.
be opposed to that at all. That would have
Yeah,
been really cool. This
right.
does make me wonder though, is the new team or the team are they going to stick with the Frostbite engine or are they going to go with the going to go back to Unreal? I'm really wondering about the new Mass Effect what they're
Mm,
going to do.
I don't know if we've heard rumors about this or not, but I thought they were using Unreal. Because Respawn is so. at this point, I feel like that kind of opens the floodgates for everybody else, to get off Frostbite. But we'll find out, I guess, as more is shown.
Yeah.
So, all right. Next game we have is also a remaster, Neo 2 remaster. Now, this game just came out last year. Obviously, Montreal already played it last year. I did a little bit as well, but for me, this is actually an exciting one for me because I'm much more in like a Souls mood now than I was back in March of last year. Having played Sekiro, I just like got a real hankering to play Neo 2, but once this was announced, I was like, well, I'm just gonna wait. So I don't know if I'm gonna play it immediately, but I really kind of I do want to. It really depends on where I'm at with like Persona and stuff. But I am very excited for this. Montreal, are you going to play it with me in co-op?
Yes, that's why I stopped playing it. So
Okay,
I'm waiting for you.
got it.
I don't know if have they confirmed like everything can just move over?
Yes, so anything you purchase will be getting a free upgrade. So if you purchase the
Okay.
DLC, you'll get a free upgrade of that. If you have the game, you'll get a free upgrade of that. So you don't have to rebuy anything, which is
What about
really
your
nice
character
of them.
progress?
Actually, say that again. Your progress.
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure about that. I would assume yes, but there's no guarantee of that.
Yeah.
For me, I'm starting over no matter what. So I don't care either way, personally. But yeah, this game is so good. And I want to play it kind of after playing Sekiro and see how I feel about it now, relatively speaking, like compared to that.
Mhm.
Because yeah, this game is just like really, just I don't know, it feels so good to play. But yeah, okay. Let's move on to our next one. Is Horizon Forbidden West. So I had this one on my list, Montreal. I don't think you had this one on your list, right?
No, actually, I completely forgot about this game, to
Okay.
be
Are
honest
you
with
looking
you.
forward to this game?
No.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, I did not the first one,
yeah,
I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this. The first one did not grab me.
yeah,
A lot of people were saying, like, it's like, "Oh, it's like Monster Hunter," and I played it, and I was just like, the combat was not there. The story was really fucking good. I
yeah,
will give them that, and the voice
yes,
acting,
yeah,
everything but the actual gameplay, in my opinion, was really fucking good.
hmm,
So I commend Gorilla for that. I just want more gameplay, if that makes any sense. The bow and arrow
yeah,
thing was cool.
hmm,
Chasing the monsters was cool as well, but it got really memey after a while because I learned. I mean, maybe because you told me, but I kind of learned it myself. Just buy fire arrows and kill everything. Like
yeah.
it was just so easy.
So OP, dude. It's just, I mean, okay, so yeah, the people saying that this game is like Monster Hunter probably have never played Monster Hunter
They
because
haven't. They
the
haven't.
game's nothing like Monster Hunter. It looks like Monster Hunter, like on the surface, it kind of looks like Monster Hunter, but that's where the similarities end. Otherwise, the game, I think the style of the fights is sort of like Monster Hunter in the sense that it's not like super quick, but the game is extremely imbalanced, unlike Monster Hunter. Um, so it's really easy to take down enemies with exploitable balance issues the game has. Fire arrows being one of them, but there are several others that exist as well. This game was not well balanced, and to be honest with you, this is one of those games that to me I think has really. I think a lot of people need to go back and play it to get a new opinion of it because to me, this game probably doesn't hold up very well compared to some of the stuff we've played in the last 3 years. Actually, 4 years since this game came out. And to me, this game was always kind of an 8, and that's where my head is still at with it. It might even be lower though now because to be honest with you, like the combat in the game is really not great. I'd say the stealth is decent. But the encounters with human enemies, which there are very many of in the game, by the way,
Yep.
are really like outright, I'd say almost outright bad. Like that part of the game, the human stuff is not fun at all. The combat against them sucks ass. Like melee combat in this game is so not good. Like it's just not good, dude. Like it has really poor controls. Aloy feels like she's just like swinging around, like flailing around when you're swinging your weapon. It's just not.
Yeah. It's
You
not.
just don't have very good control. Now with the bow and arrow, when the bow and arrow is involved, the game feels great. Actually, that
Oh
part of the
yeah,
combat is
yeah,
really good. But that's what the game was designed around. So all these human enemies that you fight are just like they don't feel right, you know.
yeah,
And oftentimes I try to get through those encounters with stealth because I did not want to get into a brawl with the human enemies because it's just not fun to me. So the game is the game's good. It's like it's not a bad game. It's just so that's kind of where I'm at with this one with the sequel is like I really need to see some severe improvement from
yeah,
them in
yeah,
regard to the gameplay because if this game plays anywhere remotely like the first one in terms of control and everything, I'm going to be severely disappointed in this game. And I think a lot of people will too because it's going to get exposed if that's the case. Because think about dude, like Near Automata came out 2 months after the original Horizon, or not even. It was like a month and a half, dude. And that game plays way better than Horizon does in terms of controlling your character and everything, and combos and all that stuff. It's like not even close, you know. And obviously, some of the gameplay is different, so it's a little apples to oranges. But that's the point, though, is like the game, even as a contemporary to games around it, didn't really stand up, you know,
yeah.
to them. So
I think this is it's still like I said, it's still a good game. I think this is the weakest one of their place of the PlayStation like lineup. This
yeah,
is the weakest one,
yeah.
in my opinion. So when it was announced that Forbidden West was coming out, I wasn't really too hyped because I'm like, I like the game, but it's like it's one of those games I can wait for a while to come out. Like I'm not like super like if they said God of War is coming out right now, I would go out and sell my last fucking pinky toe or whatever the fuck to buy God of War.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
like I wouldn't do that for this game.
me
But there
either.
are a lot of people who feel like that for Horizon, and I understand it because the story is fucking phenomenal. The world they built is really good. I like that. It's really different. The world I commend them on that. Mixing like prehistoric times with like futuristic technology, like that shit is
Mhm.
really fucking cool. I
Right.
love that aspect of the game. It's just the actual nitty gritty of the gameplay, unfortunately, did not grab me.
Yeah, and I think in terms of story, they do have one thing they need to fix is that feeling of Aloy, you know, knowing more than everyone around her. Like they need to make characters or introduce characters that like can stand up to her in that regard, you know, because I think a
Yeah,
lot of characters, unfortunately, that you meet that feel powerful when you meet them eventually just look like chumps later in the game because they just don't understand things the way she does. And it's like it kind of takes away from those interactions, you know, for me at least. So I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see how this series evolves. I'm sure we're gonna get a third game too, but um I don't know. So yeah, I'm anticipating it for sure. I will be playing it probably when it comes out, but it's almost more just to see how it evolves from the first game than in terms of excitement. So yeah. Okay, next one we have we also talked about last week is Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. Montreal, you're looking forward to this one,
yeah. I'm not. I think I went into it last week why we like it so much. So I'm not going to go super
right?
deep into it, but
Hmm.
yeah, this is one of those games. I love Super Mario 3D World. I thought it was actually one of the stronger Mario games. I
Hmm.
like this game more than like Mario 64 and everything of that nature.
Yeah.
It's a really good game, underrated. And now
Hmm.
that they had those same controls, because the controls of Mario was like really top notch. And now that they had those
Yeah.
same controls in Bowser's Fury, which is going to be like an open world type deal.
Hmm.
I'm very interested to see if they're gonna just make a game like that instead of make
Yeah.
like Bowser's Fury is like the test site, and then they're just gonna make a game like that. Because yeah, it just looks really cool, and I'm anticipating it, and my friends are going to get it too, so it's going to be like a 4 player
Mm.
co-op thing.
Co-op, nice. Well, the next game is also a co-op game, and that is Gotham Knights. We saw this at I think it was E3 last year, right? Or
Yep,
what was
it
the
was
you know
it was around an E3
replacement for
time.
E3?
Yeah,
And yeah, this game we haven't heard much about it since, but it is supposed to be coming out this year, and I was very as the months have gone on, I've thought more and more about this game. Whereas, you know, it's funny, the game that was announced next to this game, the Suicide Squad game, not on our lists. I don't think it's coming out this year, so that's probably why. But even if it was, I don't really care about that game compared to this one. This one's a lot more appealing to me in terms of what they were doing. It looks like they've really improved on the Arkham formula in ways that I was hoping for if we were ever to get another one of these games. So, I mean, what about you? How do you feel about this one?
I was actually really impressed by the gameplay that they did
Mhm.
show.
Yeah.
Um, I'm glad they're not going like all out. I think it's like only 2-player co-op, so it looks like it can be
Yes.
really balanced around that.
Yep.
Um, they I don't know if it's like a live service deal. They did say you can play single player or you can just drop in, so I'm not sure about that.
Hmm.
But I am looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to playing someone else but Batman, which is really cool. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Yeah, I completely forgot about that Suicide Squad game though. So that's
Right. Right. I
yeah.
know.
So that's
Not
that's
good.
interesting. But yeah, this game definitely looking forward to. If they delay it, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at any of these games unless got delayed because after
Mhm.
Cyberpunk, I am all for delays at this point. Like just delay a
Yes.
game.
Yes. Well, yeah, another game that got delayed that would have been on this list was Hogwarts Legacy that got pushed to 2022. So, to be honest with you, the fact that we have as many games as we have on this list, and I'm sure there's more that will be announced this year that we don't know about that we're going to want to play. I'm
Mhm.
like, please delay all these games for the love of God. Like, I just, yeah, there's no way we're going to be able to play all of them. So, so the next one is Bravely Default 2. I sort of had this one as a maybe for me. What about you though, Montreal? You had this on your list.
Yeah, I have it as a definite for me. I didn't really play. Well, okay. So I played a little bit of Bravely Default 1. I didn't really like the
Yep.
gameplay of it. Bravely
Uh-huh.
Default 2 looks like it's going to be a little bit more of that gameplay, but the everything's going to be updated if that makes any sense. Bravely
Yeah.
Default 1 was kind of like it was it was updated, but it was old school in the same way. They
Hmm.
really went back to that old school turn based combat where this one is going to look a little bit more fast paced. And I know Bravely Default 1, especially the second story or whatever, can be really fast paced.
Hmm.
But I don't know, something about Bravely Default 2 looks really good to me.
Yeah.
The graphics and everything of that nature. That I think that's really the key in the jobs they did mention that you can get. Looks really
Hmm.
cool. So I'm looking forward to it, and I've been looking for another JRPG I can play on the go, if that makes any sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. The first game, Bravely Default 1, is a good game, for sure. It's just really long, and the story is kind of fucking bonkers. To be honest with you, I got really deep into the game and put it down because it was just too long. Like I got burnt out on it. I can only handle turn-based combat for so long before I'm done, you know. um, which interestingly enough, actually, is kind of funny because you can turn random encounters off in that game in dungeons, which is a really cool thing that they let you do, which is what I would do. I would literally run through dungeons without doing random battles, and then I would grind up after the dungeon on my own time because I just prefer that to getting interrupted in a dungeon like every three fucking steps by a random encounter. It was so I hate that shit. It's so annoying to me. So yeah, I don't know. This game looks cool. I haven't looked too deeply into it, but I'm sure when it comes out, I'm gonna probably take a peek at it and see if it's worth my time. We'll see. I mean, I'm sure the story is going to be completely different from the first game. Potentially, it is Bravely Default 2 though versus Bravely Default the second, so
Yeah.
I'm not really sure what the connection is there, but I'm sure we'll learn more as the game gets closer to release. All right, next one on our list. This one, okay, this one, I'm going to be honest. This is a hard maybe. I really don't think this game's coming this year, but it's God of War, whatever the next game's title is going to be, or God of War Ragnarok. I guess they already did title it. But we've seen zero gameplay of this game, and I am of the mind that there is like a 1% chance this game comes out this year. But assuming it does, this is probably my most anticipated game. Period. But Montreal, what about you? Do you think this game's coming out this year?
No. No chance in hell. Like
I
no.
totally agree with you.
I'm looking forward to it, but there's no chance in hell this game's coming out this year.
Yeah.
Um, I think what they're gonna do. I just want to talk about the game for a minute though. Like I think they're gonna finish the story up, and then I think the
Mhm.
next game we're gonna get it's gonna be a whole new franchise. Like I think the next game after this one is gonna go into like the other worlds that we saw that they mentioned, like
Yeah.
maybe Egypt or I don't know if it was another. I saw another one, but I can't
There
remember
was
the other one.
Chinese. There was some Chinese. I think
Okay,
mythology.
So
I'm not sure if there was Hindu in there as well, but yeah, there were hints of other mythologies though, and that is super cool to be honest with you. So
yeah,
yeah, yeah, I don't think the game's coming out for sure. Like they did a thing last week at CES where they or it was 2 weeks ago maybe where they showed a bunch of games and kind of gave release windows for them, and they literally didn't even show God of War, so and didn't even mention it. So it's like, yeah, this game's not coming this year. But in terms of the game itself, though, I'm with you. I don't know if they're gonna finish the story in this game, like the story that started in the first game, in this game or not, or if it's gonna be a trilogy. We'll see, I guess. But either way, I'm all in on this reboot, dude. Like I really don't care either way. I'll eat it up, whatever it is. So okay. The next one is Returnal. So this is from Housemark, which is not a exclusive Sony, not a studio Sony owns, but a studio that Sony has got a pretty good relationship with over the years. Basically, they make exclusives for PlayStation. Their last game was, I think it was Nex Machina, I believe. And then they were working on a battle royale, Storm Divers, which they canceled smartly.
thank God.
Um, and yeah, this one is something else entirely. It kind of looks a little bit more AAA, and more of a. It still has a high score element to it, but I think it's kind of more of a game though. It has like it seems to have some kind of story to it,
Yeah,
somewhat. So Montreal, tell the people what's exciting you about this game.
I don't know. It just looks fucking cool. It's in space.
Hmm.
It's like a dark sci-fi. I like dark sci-fi, almost
Yeah.
Destiny-ish, but it looks like way darker than Destiny. And yeah, that whole shooting aspect of it, I don't know. It just looks fucking cool to me. So I'm looking forward to it. It reminds me of that. Did these people make Recore? It looks like that game. If you remember that game.
Recore. No, they didn't make Recore.
Okay.
They made Resogun
Oh,
and
okay. Okay.
Super Stardust HD. They made that game too, way back in the
It
day.
This looks really arcadish, but it looks like really fucking serious at the same time, which is like
Right. Right.
I don't mind a video game being a video game, and I like that shit. But it's like
Hmm.
also we're like we're super serious too. So
Hmm.
I don't know. The gameplay that they show like is a whole bunch of fucking shit flying at you, and you're shooting at it. You gotta jump and dodge it.
Yeah.
Reminds me like, oh, you know what it reminds me of? If this was like a modern day Mega Man Legends.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a good call.
Yeah, so I think that's why I'm looking forward to it so much.
Word. Okay. Well, our next game on the list is I believe this is a PlayStation exclusive as well, is Kenna Bridge of Spirits. So this game caught both of our attentions back when it was shown. It isn't dated, but it does have a release month of March. So it's coming soon. This game actually, the more I see of it, this game looks sick, man. I'm not gonna lie. It looks really polished. Like I don't know. I mean, how do you feel about it at this point?
Yeah, this game looks super fucking good. Like this is I don't know, man. This is like this is like it's gonna be my Zelda. Like they look like they're
Yeah.
making like a Zelda or like a. It looks like, and I hate this comparison, but like a Disney type game, but like or a
Mhm.
Disney type game as far as the style.
Yeah.
But the
Yeah.
gameplay looks very Zelda-ish. So I'm
Well,
looking
right.
forward
The
to it, man.
characters. I mean, it looks like a Pixar movie, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
man.
and I mean, it looks gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie, dude. It really, it's very appealing to me. Like, I don't know. It's probably gonna be a kind of game that I'm gonna see what people say about it and see if I can see some gameplay, like actual gameplay post release, before I like jump right into it. But it's definitely a game that I'm really looking forward to. In just in the sense of what I've seen so far. So yeah, March. I mean, that's not far. March is starting to look like a really busy month. We got a few games already lined up there, so we'll add another one to it for sure. So, okay, next game we got is Yakuza 6: The Song of Life. I'm personally not interested in this one, but Montreal, take it away. What are you thinking about this one?
I like the Yakuza game, so uh they're very over the top and they don't pl- I like games that, like I said, like to be video games, and these are one of those games like to be video games. I haven't played the RPG, the new one that just came out, which I really want to fucking play because it looks so
Mhm.
fucking
Yeah.
good. Yakuza is like if you guys, if anyone ever watches anime or anything like that, it's like the video game version of JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. It's unapologetically a video game, or
Yeah,
in
yeah.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, the case, it's unapologetically a fucking anime, and they don't
That,
care.
yep,
And these like these big
yep.
fucking buff men fighting each other and
Oh
shit, but
my
like
god, dude.
getting put.
JoJo's is really absurd. I've only seen a little bit of it, like a few episodes, but dude, it's such a weird anime.
Yeah,
But
so,
you're
like,
right.
that's it, like, Yakuza's like that, but it's with the Yakuza, so it's
Yeah.
like, these are
Yeah.
supposed to be, like, these super serious gangsters and stuff like that, but then, like, you got one where he's, like, taking care of his daughter, and he has to go into, like, a little fucking pet store and shit, and he beats someone up because the dog, like, the dog coughed wrong or some shit like that, and he beat the
Yeah.
guy up. So it's like, I don't know, it's just really fucking cool, the story is, and, I don't know, I think everyone should play it, just l
I
play at
mean,
least
dude,
one
it's
Yakuza
like a
game.
Japanese GTA game, you know? Like
It's but
what could
it's
go wrong about that?
I see it's I think it's not it is an open world game, but to compare it to GTA is doing a disservice.
Yeah.
GTA is way too serious.
Okay.
It
I
doesn't
mean,
have
yeah,
any.
you don't get chased by cops in Yakuza either, do you? Really?
No,
Or
no. You
okay.
would literally walk through the streets,
Yeah.
like the downtown section of Tokyo. So it's very
Mhm.
small as far as that. But there's so much shit to do down there. Uh it's just a lot of shit. Sometimes you'll run into random encounters with people and everything of that nature. Sometimes you have to be like a flyer. I don't know what they call them, but you know the guys that like stand outside and like pass out flyers. Like you have to do
Yeah.
one mission for that for like an adult bookshop store, and then someone gets mad at you because you're doing that, and then they fight you and stuff like that. Or
Mhm.
some lady's getting harassed by like some other gangsters or something like that, and then you got to defend the lady and stuff like that. And you fight, but when you fight, you have like these four styles, these four martial art styles, and they just do you do what crack crazy whack shit, and it's fucking hilarious. It's almost like Streets of Rage meets fucking I'm thinking of trying a Bouncer. If you guys ever played Bouncer before,
Mhm.
it meets Bouncer meets fucking wrestling because
Mm.
you're doing wrestling moves too.
Yeah.
So it's like
Okay.
it's just really good. It's really fun and it's just over the
Ye
top. So
yeah, this is a series I've always looked at, and I'm like, I probably would really like this. I have a feeling I would really like this, because playing Persona, like, it does kind of remind me of Persona, because this series I know like has a lot of just like shit in it to do, just like
yeah,
Persona does. It's just like a lot of like random fucking activities, that like don't have anything to do with the regular game, but they're in there. You
yeah,
can do them,
exactly.
and it's like I really enjoy that though. And I have a feeling I would actually really like this series. It's just like I don't know. I've never found the time to really give one a shot, so I don't know if this will be the year for that. Probably not, but
So
you know.
this is how crazy the series is. I'll tell you one example of this random shit you can do.
Mhm,
So in the game, they have these little monster cards, and I don't know what they call them. I forgot, but they're like Japanese models dressed up
mhm.
in like Japanese female models dressed up as like bugs, and
Oh
you
my
get
god.
these cards and they're like bikini outfits, right? So you get these little cards, and this is a kids game. So the kids are like, trading the cards, and
Yeah,
then
yeah,
you put the card into a machine, and then the Japanese models fight each other, and they're like in bikinis fighting each other and everything like
yeah,
that. But they're doing like wrestling moves, like stunning each other,
yeah.
like power bombing each other and stuff like that. And like this is just a regular mini game, but it's a full-fledged it looks like a full-fledged game. Like, if you walk in on me playing it, you'll probably think I'm playing this game because that's how
Yeah,
in-depth it gets. It has its own little fucking, combo system and everything. It's just fucking crazy, and that's just one of the things you can do in this game, and I'm just
mhm,
like when I played that, I was like, "What the fuck am I playing?" But I like it,
yeah,
though.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that sounds pretty fun. Pretty funny. Yeah, I know this series has always had a lot of humor in it. It's just goofy and like kind of crazy. So, I do appreciate games that do that. You know, so yeah, definitely looks appealing. For sure. Okay, the next game we have. This one is another speculative one that we're not sure it's coming out in 2021, but It really should be at this point, and that is Dying Light 2. So this was on my list last year when we did this episode, and it seemed likely it was coming out, but then COVID happened, so I'm sure that impacted the team making this game at Techland. But the thing is, it was getting to the point where I think I was starting to get worried that this game was in trouble, because we had heard nothing about it for a long time, like a year and a half. And Techland did just come out like this past week or two and say, we're still working on the game. We've had some issues, but we're hoping to get it out soon, kind of thing. So it is reassuring, I guess, in that regard. But I just don't even know where I'm at with this game at this point, because Dying Light 1 came out 6 years ago. And that's a long time. Obviously, there was actually really extensive DLC support for that game. So, to be fair to Techland, maybe they haven't been working on it for the full 6 years, this game. But the fact that it was supposed to come in 2019 and then it didn't, and then it was supposed to come in 2020 and didn't, and now it's vaguely supposed to come in 2021. I mean, it's kind of hard not to be concerned about it. But um, put that aside, though, the game itself looked really sick the last time they showed it. There was a lot of dynamic stuff where choices you make in the game change the actual state of the game world in an appreciative way, and that, I don't know, it looks really, really good to me. Montrell, have you played Dying Light 1, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Were you a fan of it?
Yeah, I didn't like the single player. That's pretty much because I started the game with my cousins, and then they kind of dropped it after a while. But I just
Yeah.
remember having so much fucking. We got really far in the
Yes.
game, and
Yes.
it's one of those games where I feel like you have to play with people because
Yes.
I don't I when I tried to play it single player, I love the story and everything, but it was just like it wasn't the same for me.
Yeah.
So when I'm picking up Dying Light 2, now that I have somebody, because I didn't meet you before I played Dying Light 1. But
Right.
now that I
Yeah.
have somebody to play Dying Light 2, I'm definitely gonna play it with you. And I feel like it's probably gonna be a really fun game.
Dude, it was super fun. Co-op in Dying Light 1 was so good. I actually played with my brother in the campaign, and we beat the whole game together. And yeah, it was dude, it was sick. The game is just like so fun. So it was such a unique game too, in terms of, I feel like we really haven't really seen a game replicating what that game did,
Yeah.
um, up to this point, and especially how well it did it. That Dying Light was a game that kind of came out of nowhere, dude. Like, to be honest with you, it was a game I was not anticipating at all. I didn't even know it existed until it came out, and then all of a sudden, I'm seeing people streaming this game, and I'm like, this game looks fucking sick, dude. Like, and then I picked it up and played it, and it was sick. It was really good. So everything they've shown of 2 looks even better than the first one too. So I'm excited for it. I'm just hoping we get it. you know, I don't think it's gonna get canceled, but Techland, I believe, is self-publishing this game, which, as we saw with Cyberpunk, caused some problems for CD Projekt Red in a lot of ways. So I'm hoping we're not running into the same thing here with this
Okay.
game, but we'll see. I don't want to speculate too hard about it, but I'm definitely anticipating it either way. I've been looking forward to this game for years, frankly. Okay, next game. We have talked about this one a bit, but I want to get your thoughts on it a little bit more, having a little bit removed from the demo we played a couple weeks ago. So, Monster Hunter Rise, which is coming out March 26th on the Switch. Montreal, is this your most anticipated game of the year or no?
Uh, you know what? I don't want to say I'm taking a backseat on it. Just thinking more about what you said, I am looking forward to this game. My thing is like I'm thinking about time. I'm thinking about other games that's coming up around it, and
Mm,
I
mm-hmm.
have been looking forward. And you know what? Maybe it's just me because I've been looking forward to another Monster Hunter game because I am so turned off by Monster Hunter World at this point. I just looked up. I looked at the hours played. Like 'cause I didn't know
Yeah,
you could do that on PS5. So
yeah.
on PS5, you go to your profile and you look at games. You can look at the hours you played, how
Mm-hmm.
many hours you played in the game. First of all, I
Mm-hmm.
put fucking 74 hours, I think, into Kingdom Hearts 3. What the fuck was wrong
Oh
with me?
my fucking yeah! You played it twice. That's why, dude. You fucking degenerate. When Remind came out, you played it again.
Oh yeah, that's right, that's right. And I played it on the
Yeah,
hardest difficulty, and I got
yeah,
to level
dude.
99. That's
Fucking
true. I
psycho,
farm.
fucking psycho, dude. Like,
Yeah. And I beat some of
how
the
did you
bosses.
not platinum that game? By the way.
I don't know. Oh, because you know what? You have to do stupid like fucking the gummy shit, and I don't fucking want to do that shit.
Oh yeah,
I
you
don't
didn't
feel
want to
like.
bother.
Yeah, I didn't feel like doing that shit. So
That's
I said
funny.
fuck it. And you have to collect every item in the game. And use
Yes.
that to get that special keyblade, and I just didn't feel like doing that.
Hmm.
Because some of the items are like RNG, and I fucking hate when like achievements are tied to RNG. So
Yes.
that's why I
Understood.
didn't platinum. But I looked at Monster Hunter World, 300 hours, and like 275 of those hours are with you. So it's like,
Did we play that much? Did we
yeah,
really play Iceborne that hard, dude?
yeah,
Oh my! What the fuck? What is wrong with us? Jesus Christ, dude! I need to
300
go look.
hours.
Oh my god, man!
I don't
What
even
the
want to look
hell,
at.
dude?
I don't even want to
We
look
didn't
at.
even beat it, by the way.
Yeah,
Like we beat the story, but we didn't do any of the new shit that came out afterwards. Like
yeah, we
we
farmed.
never fought a Rajang. Like we never. And
It was
how
taking too
excited was
long.
I about that thing? You know?
Yeah, they were just taking too long to get the content out because we were
I know.
already, yeah, we were
We
farming
were
really
over it.
hard. Yeah, because
Yeah.
we beat every monster that came out
Up
except
to
for
that point.
yeah. But I don't even want to look at like how much hours we had on the Switch because I know we put a lot of hours into that shit.
Generations.
Yeah,
I mean, okay, Montrell, let me be honest with you though. You're trying to dehype yourself and not like get like super invested in this game. But dude, when I get it, when Andy gets it, and then we convince Dennison to get it, I mean, you really gonna sit here and say you're not gonna play this game with
I
us?
am
Like,
gonna
come
play
on,
it.
dude.
I'm
There's
just,
no fucking way you're not gonna get completely absorbed in this game
I'm
because
first of all, I'm not gonna lie. I'm getting it first day. Like that's it is
okay,
what it is with that. I'm getting it first
absolutely.
day.
Yes.
My thing is that's the problem, right? I always do this with Monster Hunter. This is my hype level. It's like, oh, Monster Hunter's coming out. Well,
Yep.
I get it, and then I get
Yep.
it, and I can't put it down. So
And you're like, God damn it, this game's so good. I can't
exactly,
stop playing it. Yeah,
exactly,
I know. I know. That is my same that's my same arc with these games too, except this time I'm like hyper aware of it because I mean we do this podcast and we talk so much about video games together that like
exactly.
I'm like really aware of how much I'm trying not to be hyped for this game and I'm starting to actually get hyped for it and it's not good. I'm like, "Oh no. Oh god, I'm going to play this game really hard."
See, and that's my problem too. That's why I won't touch the demo because it's
Yeah.
like I just want more of the game. So it's
Yeah.
like that's why I just been like peppering the demo here and there. I jump in on it and then jump out of it. That's it. But yeah,
The demo doesn't give me enough, dude. It's just
yeah.
like the pure gameplay is great, but it's not enough for me to jump into it. You know, it's like
I mean,
I'm like
I
I
guess
need
this
I need
feels
the
like it's
drops,
like
I need the gear crafting, I need all the other shit that the game's gonna have. You know, all that stuff.
I
So
guess this is what it feels like to be addicted to like a gotcha game. You know, this is not a gotcha game. Like
mhm.
I can't just jump in and like not play it. If I jump into the Monster
Yeah.
Hunter, Monster Hunter is my gotcha or my addiction. If I jump into Monster Hunter, I'm playing it for about 20 hours.
Be happy, Montreal. Be happy that they have not created a Monster Hunter gotcha game because that's the nice thing about Monster Hunter. You put in your $60 or $70 or whatever it's going to cost, and that's it. That's the end of it. There's
Yep.
no more money involved. You don't have to keep putting money into it to enjoy it. Like that's the great thing about Monster Hunter. That's why this series is so addicting is because it's a full game for the price of
Yep.
admission. Now, we've talked about and criticized Capcom for their release schedule with G rank and all that, and that's going to happen with this game too, no question. I truly believe that. However, doesn't change the fact that this game's probably going to be really sick. And I'm gonna play the shit out of it probably. So, because dude, I'm sitting here thinking like, I've been a dual blades main with Monster Hunter basically the whole time I played it. With Generations, I went bow with you guys.
Hmm.
However, this time I'm really thinking about playing other weapons and having more than those two that I've played. I'm really starting to think about branching out into other stuff like sword, shield, and maybe even like longsword and
Okay.
stuff because I have seen the gameplay of that stuff and it just looks so fucking fun, and I love dual blades. I'm gonna play dual blades. Don't get me wrong. It's just like I don't know if I'm gonna make that my absolute 100% primary weapon, I'm gonna try to be a little bit more diversified of a player, where I kind of play multiple different styles
Yeah,
in this game. So
think my only disappointment, I mean, we have to wait till the full game comes out, but I think they would have put that in the demo. I'm really disappointed that Hunter Arts, like I mentioned
mm,
last week, I
mhm.
just really love Generations for that. I feel like the Sword and Shield was probably the best weapon because of the Hunter Arts. They just had so
Dual
many
blades
good,
too.
yeah, dual blades too. They just had so many good Hunter Arts, and
Yeah,
I remember I was almost a Sword and Shield main in Generations, because that
you
weapon
kind of
was.
were actually. You played that a lot, dude.
Yeah, because it was just so fucking good. I loved
Yeah.
it, and then when I went back to, World, it just didn't feel the same.
Yeah, this is my biggest criticism with Capcom and the way they handle this series is they always introduce these new mechanics or systems or some kind of almost a gimmick with each game. And then the ones that, it's like they don't bring it back for the next game for the most part. Like there's certain mechanics that have stayed over the, like kind of endured the test of time, like mounting
Yeah,
from 4 has, that's a permanent fixture now, and it seems like the clutch claw is kind of, it's getting reworked into the wire bug in this game, but
yeah,
it's sort of kind of still part of the kit in some ways. So it seems like that one might endure through multiple games, but it's like then you had the swimming from 3 that didn't last. Thank Christ it didn't. But then you've got the Hunter Arts from Generations, and it's like that was a great system and a really great way to differentiate yourself from other people playing the same weapon
exactly.
type.
Yeah,
You could have two users of the same weapon in your party, and it really might not necessarily be a terrible thing because of the Hunter Arts. You could play
exactly.
differently. You have different styles, and do different things with that stuff. So the fact that it's out of the game, or it seems to be out of the game, is really, it is disappointing, because I feel like that's an aspect of the game I really wish they had actually just gone even further with the Hunter Arts, not taking them out.
Yeah,
Because the basic gameplay of Monster Hunter is great, but if, like, this is what our problem with World ultimately ended up being, is that ultimately World was just the basics. There was nothing special there in terms of the other stuff.
yeah,
Yes, the game felt better, the control was better, it was faster, and all that stuff is there, but at the end of the day, once you get into the nitty-gritty of the gameplay and you get used to how good it looks and how good it controls and everything like that, honestly, the game's really simple. Like, you don't have a lot of complicated combos, especially like I've talked about ad nauseum. Dual Blades just did not have very complex combos,
yeah,
and it was really disappointing for me as a Dual Blades main. It's just like it didn't, and then Bo wasn't really like Bo. I'd say the way they changed Bo's controls like revolutionized Bo in a way that was appealing, but after a while, like playing it long enough, it just was kind of not. It was kind of boring, dude. Like, it just didn't feel the same. You were almost like too mobile as a Bo user, and it was like, I don't know. I'm not gonna say it made the game easy, but it's just like it just didn't feel the same after a while, and so I don't know. I'm hoping Rise has some secrets hidden within it that we don't know about yet. Beyond just the wire bug stuff that they've shown us, I'm hoping there's a little bit more there, that we've not seen, but I don't know. I just know how they are. I really doubt it. I have a feeling the Hunter Arts aren't there, and it is going to be what it is. Now, I will say, to their credit, the wire bug does seem to be giving you a differentiation in gameplay. There are some different combos you can do with the wire bug, that kind of are a pseudo replacement for some of those Hunter Arts. So hopefully that can at least do the trick there. But I don't know. So I'm really looking forward to it. Montrell, are you hyped or no? You still trying to dehype
I'm
yourself?
still trying to hype myself, but I am
All
looking
right.
forward to the game.
Well, we got 2 months, so I'm sure your opinion will change soon enough. Okay, next game. This one is another speculative one. We're not sure it's coming out in 2021. However, there have been a lot of rumors lately indicating that it might be, and that is Elden Ring, which is from Soft's mysterious new Souls game that is like a open world game with lore written by George R. R. Martin, and it's set in this like medieval fantasy realm. Montreal, are you anticipating this one or not? Because I
I
mean, we've seen no gameplay, so
Yeah, I'm the type of person I need gameplay. I just can't go
same.
off the team. All right, I can't go off the team, even though I know what the team is capable of. But I can't because they said that it's probably not going to be a Dark Soulish type game. But
Right.
I mean, we just don't know at this point. I mean, both teams. I mean, and they're writing with George R. R. Martin. I think both teams, George R. R. himself and From Software, bring very interesting lore as far as medieval. Whether
Mhm.
you're from the Demon Souls, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro,
Yep.
they bring really good lore into the worlds that you play in. They don't tell you outright what's going on, but you learn a lot through environments, items, and things of that nature. And I actually like that. I know a lot of people are turned off by that type of story telling aspect, but I actually love that. I love like why is this particular monster here and why am I fighting this monster? And then you
Mhm.
learn about it through whether it be items or if you just want to further somebody explain it to you on YouTube. When you go back and fight that monster again, it makes everything more satisfying.
Yeah.
So I am looking forward to Elden Ring as far as the world building, but as far as gameplay, I don't know what to look for, so I'm not super hyped about it.
Mhm.
As far as everyone else, 'cause everyone else is like, "Oh my god, what's coming? What's coming next?" And they're like circle
Yeah.
jerking over it, and I'm just like, "Well, I got
Yeah.
some gameplay footage first of it."
Yeah, so for me, I mean, I'm with you with the gameplay, right? We have no gameplay, and the Reddit for this game, I've not really gone on there, but I hear rumors all the time, and just see all this stuff like posted on Twitter of them like losing their fucking minds over a screenshot, and it's like, guys, like, I don't. Why do you have to be so obsessive about one video game? It's like, I get it, it's from Soft, but like, let's fucking calm down. But after playing Sekiro and then playing Demon Souls, the Demon Souls remake, I actually my anticipation level of this game has gone up tremendously since it was originally announced, because the style, just seeing how high quality of a developer they are with Sekiro, and then seeing what the style of Demon Souls was, which was a game they made,
Hmm.
um, and seeing that style and that like that medieval style in their format, and having that potentially be an open world game with George R. R. Martin writing the lore, I mean, there's a lot going for this game, dude.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
could be this game could be fucking excellent, you know, and it probably will be. All to be completely honest, but so I'm anticipating it. I just don't know when we're gonna get it. I don't. I really don't think it's coming this year. But I know all these rumors have been really kind of indicating otherwise, but honestly, I don't know. They seem like a team that's at this point, they're the kind of team who's going to ship the game when it's ready. They are not going to rush it out the door, and they have no need to, because literally every publisher on the fucking planet wants to publish their games. So, you know, it's like, what do they care? You know, like they
yeah,
got to deal with Namco for this one, I think, and it's just Namco is probably like, oh, take all the time you need. You know,
yeah.
this is a prestige game. Like, we need this to be good. So,
Yeah, Miyazaki, he's the people who he's the like the lead producer and everything of these games. He didn't do Dark Souls 2, which was probably why that game didn't turn out too well.
mhm,
But he did Dark Souls. He did Bloodborne, Dark Souls 1, 3, and Demon Souls. And I think he did Sekiro as well. And that's why those
yeah,
games turned out the way they turned out. Um, because, yeah, they just have patience. Like you can tell with Sekiro, there was just patience with
yeah,
that game.
mhm,
And they all feel drastically different from each other. Like Dark Souls feels way different from Demon Souls, and Demon Souls feels way different from Bloodborne, and Bloodborne feels way different from uh Sekiro. And they all have some kind of progression, if that makes any sense, as far as like the development. They're like slowly crafting their art. And if you even want to go further
yeah,
back,
right,
um, they had games that were like that were essentially Dark Souls or Bloodborne-ish, but they were in first person. I can't remember what the
mm,
fuck the games were called. They were like King's Glaive or something like that. It was a PlayStation 1 game, awful gameplay, but I saw the vision what they were trying to do.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Um, and
Obviously, famously, the Armored Core
the Armored Core
creators as
series,
well,
yeah, and they just
right? And
obviously,
abandoned that.
yeah, they abandoned that because they make more money making these games now. Uh, I really wish they would return to, but
Yeah, I'd love to see what an Armored Core game from these guys would look like now. Actually, to be honest with you,
yeah,
with the way they make gameplay and how like they are, I'm gonna be honest, from Soft in terms of gameplay, just technical gameplay crafting, like mechanical gameplay, I don't think anybody in the world beats the studio. Like their level of precision, in like the precision that that exists in Sekiro is higher than any game I think I've ever played. I'm like not even kidding when I say that.
No,
Like,
you're right. A lot of people try to emulate it, and some people
yeah.
do a really good job at getting close. But
Hmm.
there has not been a game where the only game that comes close as far as deflecting is sword parrying is
Hmm.
probably Metal Gear Revengeance. And to
Yeah.
me, that's like a really, really light version of Sekiro as far as like getting
Yeah.
my timing right and everything of that nature.
Yeah, and I'm talking about too, not like I'm talking about from a technical perspective too. Like think about how good the game technically has to be, where there is not like how precise the player has to be in that game is a reflection of how good the game's technical mechanics are. Because like if there's any input lag at all in the game, like any, the game falls apart, you know? Like because all of a sudden you're getting hit by shit you shouldn't be getting hit by. And it's just like it's super fucking impressive. I actually don't think a lot of developers would be able to pull it off the way they do. So yeah, that part of it, that alone just makes me really anticipate whatever they do, because I like from like game if I'm just looking for a game with gameplay, they're kind of who I'm looking at right now, you know. So put that in like an open world with medieval fantasy with George R. R. Martin writing the lore. I mean, I'm kind of in on that, you know. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully, it does come out this year. We can all play it and fawn over it as the Reddit does. So, all right, the next game we have on our list is Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time remake. Now, we both had this on our list, and I've raved about the original a few times on this podcast. But Montrell, how are you feeling about this remake right now?
Uh, I'm not the biggest Prince of Persia fan, so
Mhm.
I'm looking forward to actually just getting into it, if that makes any
Uh,
sense.
Experiencing it.
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah.
yeah. So I'm not because I unfortunately I came in really late as far as Prince of Persia. I did like the gameplay of it, but I just came
Yeah.
in like way too late when the hype was already gone and everyone was already
Hmm.
done with Prince of Persia, and I was getting
Hmm.
into it. So, and then my hype kind of went away for it as well because like the franchise just died. So I was like, oh well, I guess there's nothing to look forward to anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of just left it at that.
Yeah, so this remake though, I'm gonna be honest, I'm actually really concerned about it. Because when it was first shown off, like it just looked really rough. It looked like it was in really rough shape. And the game was slated to come out this month and got pushed to March. And it's being made by a studio in India that we've I don't think has made a game. They're like a new studio for Ubisoft, so that alone is concerning, that they gave this game, now it is a remake, so to be fair it should be not as hard to do as like making your own game, but you know it's still not easy to do, you know. So I don't know, we'll see how this does. Hopefully Ubisoft gives them the time they need. If they need another delay, I hope Ubisoft gives it to them, because this is definitely a game to me, for me personally, that I do not want to see fall on its face because it's a technical mess, you know. Because this game is not it's fairly well known, but it's not like a super, it's not like an old, you know, like gem that everyone knows about, you know. I'm really excited to see the mainstream and everyone really get a chance to experience this game, because this is a phenomenal video game. So it's like one of my favorite games. So yeah, I'm hopeful for it. I'm just not, I don't know. I don't want to get my hopes too high, because it's the studio making it's inexperienced. So we'll see. It's supposedly coming in March, so we'll see if it gets there. If it doesn't, we'll let you guys know. All right, next one we have on our list is Babylon's Fall. So this is another one we're not sure it's coming out this year, but this was announced in 2019, and this is a platinum made game published by Square Enix. And this game is a third-person action game, and what we saw of it back in December of 2019 was pretty sick, man. How are you feeling about this, Montreal? Are you looking forward to this one?
Yes, I've been looking forward to this game for a while. I actually forgot about it because it fell off my radar. Um,
Hmm.
but I watched gameplay footage of it again. I got hyped all over again. Um, but I
Yeah,
am looking
right.
forward to it. I just don't know what to expect from it. I think, like you said off air, this is supposed to be like their answer to or what Godfall was supposed to be, in my
Yeah,
opinion. in your
Yeah.
opinion?
Right.
And
Right.
I
Right.
looking at it, it's probably gonna be something like that, like a live action game or a live service game, which
Mhm.
I wouldn't mind. But it's like, what is this game and why is it taking so long? Because like usually
True.
platinum games when they have action games, I think maybe near Automata was probably the longest they've been in development on the game, but like
Mhm.
even that was like maybe 2 or 3 years. Like they usually pump their games out really fast. They have a
Mhm.
vision and they just go for it. Uh, so for this to be in delay for that long, either it gives me hope that they're just trying to polish it, or I'm scared that it might become another Scalebound, and
Yeah.
we all know what happened to Scalebound. So
True. That's a fair point. That one did not end well, unfortunately.
yeah,
Um, Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. Like you said, we don't know what it is. We don't even know. It's obviously an action game, but what kind of action game is it? Is it like a story-driven action game? Is it like a level-based action game? Is it
exactly.
like, Bayonetta, or is it more like Godfall where it's like a ARPG, or is it a live service game like you were saying? Like we have no real idea what this is beyond it's an action game of some sort. So I'm actually looking forward to getting more information about it, which hopefully we do get in the next few months. We'll learn more about it. So the next one is Near Replicant. And I'm not going to say the rest of it because Square.
It's
I
literally
just
some
I
bullshit.
can't. It's just gibberish.
This is almost
Um.
this is almost
So
fucking what you would call it, level type shit, Nomura type shit. But
it is no more. It is no more type shit, dude. It totally is. So yeah, but Near Replicant, which is a remake of the original Near, or remaster slash remake. I'm really. I'm not even sure at this point. The way it's been shown and messaged,
I
we'll
think
have to
it's a
see when it
remake.
comes out.
I think it's a full on remake.
It looks like a remake, but everyone reporting on it keeps calling it a remaster.
I don't think people are
So
stupid. So
I agree with you. It feels like this game actually feels like it's been in development for a little while. So to just be a remaster would be weird.
yeah.
Because dude, the original Nier looks like complete ass. To be honest with you, like it does. Like go look at gameplay of it, and you're like, that is what PS3 looked like, and it's like, oh god,
I
we
do
played
remember
games like
playing
that.
Near, and I was like, "Oh, this is pretty cool, actually." Like I
Yeah.
do remember playing it, but I
So
mean,
yeah, I mean,
60 though. So
yeah. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to playing this. I've always wanted to go back and play the original Nier, but the way it looked and the control of it didn't look very good, so I kind of resisted that urge. And to be able to play this now, an updated version of it after playing Automata, I'm really excited about that. And it also is exciting because after this game comes out, it means we're moving on to what's next for Nier, and that's exciting. Whatever that ends up being. Because I sincerely doubt this franchise is done. So,
no, it made
um,
too much money.
yeah, right. It was way too successful. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this game for sure. Um, but I don't want to hype myself too much about it because I really don't know what to expect with it. So I don't want to go into it thinking, oh, I'm going to get another Near Automata because I don't think that's what we're going to get. I don't really know how deep this game is in that regard. So,
Well, what's
um,
interesting about these two games is, I think
mhm.
Nier Automata really solidified their relationship with Platinum Games, like Square Enix Platinum Games,
Yes.
Babylon's Fall
Yeah.
and Nier Automata. I think Nier Replicant probably had some. They didn't. Platinum Games didn't do this game, but I feel like they kind of consulted on the side, like, hey, this is how the combat flow works. This is how you make a good combat system and things of that nature. Even though we know Square Enix has teams that have really good combat, that are combat
Yeah.
aware of what they should do with fast paced combat. I mean, just look at Kingdom Hearts 3 or Kingdom Hearts franchise in general, even though I prefer Kingdom Hearts 2. But anyway, we know that they know how to do combat. I don't know what happened with 15. No one knows. But
Yeah.
then we have 7, and now we have 16, which looks to be more of the 15-ish, but like all the way amped up. It looks almost Devil May Cry-ish, Bayonetta-ish,
Mhm.
near. So I think my thing is like I think Platinum Games and Square Enix are gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if within the next 2 years, Square Enix just acquires Platinum. I wouldn't be surprised about that.
I would say the same thing. And this is being made by a team called Kavia, by the way. Um, I would say the same thing. I almost feel like you're not like too far off there. The problem is that Platinum is recently, like this past year, endeavoring to be a publisher themselves.
Mm.
Now, that doesn't mean Square can't acquire them and they can still be a publisher. There are plenty of publishers that own other publishers. But the fact that Platinum wants to be a publisher, though, kind of makes me feel like they want to stay independent on their own. And I don't know. So it would be interesting. I will say, though, to your to your point, though, they have a really close relationship with Square, and it's really solidified in the last 5 years. And I don't know, because yeah, Babylon's Fall is another game they're making in concert with Platinum, so the two of them are really simpatico with games lately. So I wouldn't be surprised by it. It would just be, I don't know, it's interesting to say the least. So yeah, we'll see. The game itself, like I said, I'm very excited for it. And more near, I'm not going to complain about. We're getting a near game,
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
always exciting. So at this point for me. But the next game, let's move on, is Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 4, which is the final entry, I believe, in this Trails of Cold Steel series that's been going on for quite a while, actually. I think since like PS3, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Montrell?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think even PS2. No, PS3.
Yeah, so I think you had this one on your list, right?
Yeah, I had this in my.
Okay.
It's another JRPG that I'm looking forward to.
Yes.
I don't really know too much about the franchise. I just know what I saw looks good, and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
I give this a try. So apparently, this game's like already out, and I think it's gonna be kind of remastered for 15 or
Yeah.
for 5. But
Yeah.
I'm not too sure. I know it came out in Japan already,
Hmm.
so I'm looking forward to it. I actually like JRPGs.
Hmm.
I just have to have the patience for it.
Well, in the time, right? Because they're
Yeah,
always time consuming.
exactly.
Um, yeah, this is a funny series because I actually have, I think I have Trails of Cold Steel 2 in my stack of, backlog shame. And I want to play through this series because everyone raves about it, but I'm like, it's 4 games and it's kind of intimidating, to play 4 games. And these games are not, they're all like big games from what I understand. Now I will say in terms of gameplay, all I've heard about it is that it's kind of like Persona Light, in terms of its gameplay, which is interesting for sure. So definitely an intriguing game for me as well. But you have anything else you want to say about this one?
Nah, that's it.
All right, let's move on. We got a few more to get through here. Deathloop is the next one. So this is a big one, dude. For me, personally, this game, the more I see of it, the more excited I get for it. This game looks fucking sick, man. For a first-person shooter, it's got such a unique hook to it that I'm really excited to see what this game turns out to be, in terms of like its quality and just the depth of it. What about you?
I actually don't know what to expect from it. I see the gameplay, I see the vision, but I mean, I've been down this road before where I'm
Can they pull it off?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
and I feel you. I do feel you on that.
It's just, I mean, there have been games though. I can't remember which game that it just recently came out to where you can finish like certain levels like almost 100 different ways or some shit like that. So I mean,
Yeah.
this looks like to be one of those games where you can just do whatever you want to do to finish the level, and then you can
Mhm.
restart if you mess up or something of that nature. So I
Yeah.
mean, I like that aspect of it. I actually like the art style of it too. It just reminds me of like those old school PS3 or PS2 Xbox first person shooters like that were just like
Yeah.
apologetically a video game. They weren't trying to be Call of Duty. They were
Yep.
just trying to be a first person shooter and be fun. And that's what it reminds me of. I'm actually seeing that a lot from developers now as far as first person
Mhm.
shooters. I think Doom and Wolfenstein kind of brought that style back as far as like,
Yeah.
hey, we're a first person shooter and we're a single player game. We are going to be that and we're going to be crazy wacky. We don't care about the whole Call of Duty thing or the whole Halo
Mhm.
thing or whatever. So I think this is
Right.
I think this is cool that they're doing their own thing too. So I am looking forward to it. It's just can they pull it off is my thing because this is I know this is the people who made
Dishonored.
Dishonored. So I wasn't a big Dishonored fan, but I know people love that series and that's a really high quality first person game.
Yeah. What's funny about this one too is it's actually going to be PS5 exclusive.
Oh,
So
really? Okay, I thought it was
at least for a period of time, I believe. But yeah, which is funny given the deal, Microsoft bought Bethesda. There's actually a couple games that are going to be PlayStation exclusives that Microsoft's going to be honoring. So, um, this is one of them. And yeah, this game to me, like I'm totally with you. I understand where you're coming from on the can they pull it off thing because the ambition here is actually pretty high. A game where you have to kill so many targets but doing things within the game world changes what happens later. That is a game that could get really complicated really fast in a way where it starts not making sense at a certain point, and kind of breaks down even. And that is definitely a concern of mine. I hope they didn't bite off more than they could chew. However, I will say Dishonored 2 came out a long time ago, I think. It's been a few years at least. I want to say it was at least 2018 or 2017 even that game came out. So they've had time to work on this for sure. So I think they can pull it off. And what they've shown of it looks really good. But I'm with you though in terms of like game development. I mean, Cyberpunk looks really good. It's like they could just be showing us what looks really good. It's easy to do that in the video game industry. So we'll see. I'm gonna play it though. This is one of those games. This is one of the games on the list that I'm planning on getting at launch. Probably. And jumping into right away because that's how intriguing the concept is to me. So I will have thoughts on it either way, whether it's good or bad. So, all right, let's move on to our next one. That is Halo Infinite. I don't know much to say about this one, Montreal. Where are you at with Halo Infinite?
Uh, I don't know. I really don't know what to say about it as
Yeah,
well. Be honest with you. So
I mean, it's good they delayed it, right?
yeah, it is, but I just don't know where it's going with it, where they going with it. To be honest with you, I
I mean, are
mean,
you excited about it though?
I am excited about it. I wasn't impressed by the gameplay, so it's like,
Right, but they delayed it presumably to fix some of that, right?
yeah, I just
You would
want to
think,
see the
or
multiplayer, and they didn't show any no multiplayer. So I
true.
I'm just waiting for that.
Fair enough. All right, we don't need to stay on this game too long. So let's move on to the next one. This is one I had, which is called Hightail. So this game is a what is called a voxel RPG. And these are basically like Minecraft looking games. That's what the voxel means. They look like Minecraft. However, this game does not looks like it plays like Minecraft. It is much more. It looks much more like an actual RPG. Like it has much more focus on combat and like growing your player character. Whereas Minecraft really has none of that beyond like making yourself equipment and stuff. So this is intriguing to me in that regard because if you remember Montreal, you remember that game Cube World that I was hyping
Yeah,
for a brief minute
yeah,
that came out and just farted out and was a piece of garbage basically.
yeah. I remember that
Um,
game. Yeah.
this game was basically a product of me looking around for a game that was like that game but better, and I ended up finding this out there, and it's being made by an actual studio, not like one person. Whereas Cube World was like one guy basically. This is being made by a studio, and it looks like they're taking it very seriously, and they seem to have their shit together. The game actually looks pretty interesting in terms of the trailer that was shown last year. So I don't know if it's coming this year. They haven't confirmed that is the like actually happening or not, but this one actually feels like one that has a pretty decent likelihood of getting pushed to next year. But if
Okay.
it does make it this year, I'm looking forward to it. Are you taking a look at it right now?
Yeah, I am actually.
What do you think?
uh, I'm not a fan of the art style, but I do like the RPG elements they put in there. I think that was the one thing that was kind of missing from Minecraft. It kind of gives you an
Right.
objective. So
Right, and that's the hook for me that was always missing. I'm not the kind of player who's like a self guided. I don't want to make my own goals. Like I'm I don't know. Like I'm gonna build this giant fucking house. Oh fuck, cool, dude. Like I don't care. I need to have something to chase, and like Minecraft never gave that to me. But Hytale looks like a game that's like it's got co-op in there, and there's a little bit. I don't know. It just looks like a little bit more up my alley in terms of what I'm looking for. So Okay, let's move on to the next one, and that is Fantasy Star Online 2 New Genesis. And I had forgotten about this one until I saw it on your list. And damn, Montreal, if you're not wrong, I mean, this game could be the hype. But where are you at with this?
Uh, I'm waiting because I think it's supposed to come out in the next couple of months, right?
It's soon. It was slated for spring, I think, of
Okay.
2021, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah,
So yeah, this one kind of came quick.
yeah. I'm looking forward to it. Like I said before, when they finally ported over for fucking 700 years, uh, an English version of Fantasy Star 2 online, it was too late, and I felt like
Mhm.
maybe they felt that way as well.
Yeah, yeah,
And this looks like the updated version of like a Fantasy Star game that I would want to play.
yeah.
Because like I don't want to call Fantasy Star like a Monster Hunter like because it's nothing like Monster Hunter, but the combat at the time was revolutionary as far as like action combat because there weren't too many games like Monster Hunter and Fantasy Star where they had that
Mhm.
action combat and it was like a massive open world, not open world game, but like an online game and everything of that nature.
Yeah.
And That's why, in my opinion, I think Monster Hunter took off for me because Fantasy Star wasn't there for me, like at all.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
there are people who just stuck out with Fantasy Star, and there are people who the fan base kind of cross laps that they go back between Fantasy Star and Monster Hunter. And this new gameplay, the new Genesis gameplay, it looks exactly what I want. It's updated. It looks really fucking good, and it looks
Modern, right?
yeah, it looks more modern. And I just like how fast paced it is. Whereas the Fantasy Star now, it was fast paced last gen.
Yeah, right. It looks like an early PS3 game,
Yeah,
in terms of what it looks like and the way it kind of handles and controls, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just like, I mean, it's 2021 though, dude. Like, I don't know. Like
yeah.
that game, I don't think appeals to me in terms of playing it anymore. Like I need something a little bit more updated to like hold my attention.
If
And
it
yeah,
was
Fantasy
2010,
Star. Yeah, sorry. Go
I'll
ahead.
be if it was 2010, I'll be all up for it. But it's not
Yeah.
2010, it's 2021.
Yeah, right, exactly. And yeah, Fantasy Star is a funny series for me because I completely missed the Dreamcast period of Fantasy Star Online, which is a damn shame actually because I think that would have been my first MMO to be honest with you. But I played this game on GameCube and it was a purely single player experience for me on the GameCube. And it was really fun and enjoyable, and I really liked it on the GameCube. But um, so then Fantasy Star Online 2 always kind of was this like vague uh untouchable game that everyone always kind of whispered about online and it was like this kind of cult game that people in the West were like, oh, we wish Sega would bring it over here, and it was like it just took forever for it to actually get here. And then I broke down one day and did go download it and play it. And it was fun for a little while. It just didn't really hold my attention for very long. So that's why this does, because it's like this is an online game. We can play it with other people. We can play it together. We can play it with our friends. We can get some of our friends into it. And Fantasy Star Online actually has a very wide appeal to a lot of people that I know. So this could be a game that like potentially a lot of people that play possibly,
Yeah, and
but
it's not super technical
yeah,
like Monster
right,
Hunter is. Like it's very easy to
right,
get into, but one of those easy
hmm
to get into games, but like once you get really high level, it's hard to master because you gotta
yeah,
know certain combos and stuff. And I'm just looking at the gameplay right now for the different classes, and yeah, everything is like what I would want to be updated. And it's like the Gunner class looks fucking sick as shit. Like it's so how good
yeah.
this game looks. So
Um,
this is a one of my I say after Monster Hunter, this is like my second most anticipated game.
mhm. Oh man, yeah, you're right. There's like new trailers and stuff, dude.
Yeah, man.
Oh god.
Check out some of the gameplay once the podcast is over. It's fucking crazy how good this game looks now.
Oh my god, dude, this looks like Xenoblade Chronicles X, bro. Jesus Christ, you got like a mech you're driving around and shooting people. Oh god, Montreal, this is bad, dude.
And
These
that's the other
characters
thing
look
about
like
this
fucking Star Ocean characters, man. Oh
and
Jesus
that's the other
Christ.
thing about this franchise. It
Yeah.
always reminded me of fucking Xenoblade. I don't know
Yeah,
why, or I should say the other way around. Xenoblade reminded me of this game because I think this game came out a
yeah.
little bit before.
They have really similar stylings.
Yeah,
This Star Ocean and Xenoblade are very, very similar in their kind of aesthetic,
yeah, and I wonder if,
what
like,
they're
they had
going for.
overlapping team members or something like that at one point, like
They probably did, I imagine. Or maybe they all just copied Phantasy Star at some point, and I don't know. Or it just so happens, they have coincidentally have similar artists who have like similar sensibilities
Yeah,
working on them. But yeah, dude, like, oh my god, I'm watching this gameplay right now. This looks so good, dude. Like, god damn it, man.
yeah, it looks fucking good.
Oh shit, this is like what I want, like a Xenoblade MMO to be, basically.
Yeah,
And it's yeah, so I don't know, man. Oh jeez, yeah. I don't need that kind of time sink in my life, but shit, dude, I might not be able to avoid it. I mean, if a lot of our friends jump into it and you jump into it, dude, I'm not
I'm
sure I'm gonna be
definitely
able to
jumping into it, but
resist. So, all right. I mean, I know I'm there with you. I'm definitely there with you. It's just a matter of maybe getting some other people we know involved.
yeah,
We can have like a little bit of a group going. That'd be pretty fun. So yeah, that could be a big one. It could be. We'll see. We'll see. But the next one is definitely going to be a big one, and that is Resident Evil Village, which is Resident Evil 8. Not my cup of tea, but Montrell, go ahead and tell the people why they should be excited about this game.
uh, that's Resident Evil. I don't know, fuck. I can't even
Come
tell
on,
you.
man. You gotta sell it
I've
harder
actually
than
been
that.
really dark on this game. I know they bringing one person back, which is Chris.
Hmm.
He was the main character in the first game and then the fifth game.
Okay.
So he's a staple to the franchise. So they're bringing him back and they're tying it into him. I'm actually playing through Resident Evil 7 now, which
Yeah.
honestly is not that bad. I'm still kind of turned off by the first person aspect of the game, but the game is actually
Hmm.
pretty creepy. They did a
Yeah.
really good job as far as like making that transition. They really tried, and I feel like the village is going to be a little bit more of the same as far as that aspect of it. But yeah, I think this franchise is because yeah, Resident. I'm playing Resident Evil 7 now. It really surprised me. Uh, I thought it was going to be like I don't know how to describe it, but I just didn't like the what I was watching. It's one of those games
Hmm.
where you can watch it and stream it. But for me, it's one of those games I gotta play. Like scary watching
Hmm.
other streamers. I know that's a thing for other people. Like they like to watch them play these scary games. But for me, it really doesn't do anything for me. When I play the
Yeah.
game though, it really gets me into it and you gotta set the mood up and everything like that. So I was playing Resident
Yeah.
Evil 7 in the dark and it was pretty creepy and I like that. Which is funny because you say you don't like scary movies. I hate scary movies too. I can
Yeah.
play video games though. I just can't play. I
Okay.
can't watch scary movies for some reason. I fucking hate them.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Well, it's funny you mentioned not being able to watch people play them, because I am like probably the exact opposite with this. This is how I would want to absorb Resident Evil Village, is watching someone play it, probably.
Okay.
Because I would at least get that feeling of I'm here with someone else. It's like we're experiencing this together, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not like actually interacting with whoever I'm watching, but it's like at least there's that semblance of other people being there. Whereas like playing this alone in my house with the lights off, that just sounds like it sounds like something I don't want to do. So, you know, which I know plenty of people do that to themselves, and they set the mood and they turn all their lights off and fucking like turn everything off, like turn their air conditioner off so there's no noise, and it's just like them in the game and they're really immersed. Like I can't do that, dude. Not with these
I think
games.
that's the best way
So
to play some of these games. One game I
yeah,
can't play like that is Outlast. That game's genuinely terrifying to me. Outlast
got it.
Asia, so I can't play
Yeah.
those two games.
All right. Well, the next one we have is one I put on here as well, is Secrets of Grindia. So, all right, this game has been in development. I went and looked. It looks like this game's been in development for like 10 years, quite literally. I have been following this game probably since like 2014 is when I heard about it, and it has been in development that whole time. It's being made by a really small group of people, maybe 3 or 4. I'm not even sure if it's that many. But the thing is, though, so basically it's an isometric kind of NES style or Super NES style like action RPG, where it's kind of like looks like Zelda or like Secret of Mana, but it's a more like full in-depth RPG. It has like skill trees and gear and stuff the way in a way those games kind of don't. Um, and it just has appealed to me the whole time ever since I've seen it. It's just development's been really slow on it, but it finally looks like this year it might actually come out because they are finishing up the content patches now. Like they're almost done with most of the content they need to do for the game. So now I will say this game's been in early access for a long time, so you can actually go play it right now if you want.
Okay.
Like it's on Steam and playable. So that's kind of the other reason I'm anticipating it is because the game's like out there. It's not like it's hiding away and it's going to come out and it's going to be a piece of shit. People are already playing it and people like it a lot. So the game's like kind of already proven its chops. It's just doesn't have all the content it needs yet, like all the content it's going to have yet. So once it does though, I'm going to be all over this game. I'm really looking forward to it. It does have co-op too. So that potentially might be an appealing thing. I may try to do that with my brother, potentially because he was also really interested in this game as well. So I don't remember the name of the team making this, but Secrets of Grindia is the game. It is on Steam. You can get it in early access. It is not expensive either. I think it's like 15 or $20. So worth a look though if you're interested in that style of game, that old like Super NES RPG. Definitely worth a look. So next one on the list is Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Montrell, you had this one on your list. I do have some things to say about it, but I want to hear what you're thinking first. How are you feeling about
Yeah,
this one?
had too much to say about it because I just saw the gameplay. All right, it's a Ratchet and Clank game, and I love Ratchet and Clank. But I think my only concern is it's like it's the remade version, or it's taking the style of the remake that they did.
The reboot, yeah,
Yeah, the reboot, which I'm not a huge fan of. I liked it a lot because it was essentially like the PlayStation version. Um, it has nothing to do with the gameplay. It's the writing that I'm worried about because Ratchet and Clank had a
mm,
very unique style of writing that they had
yeah,
that made the game what it is. Uh,
yeah.
that's really my biggest concern. The gameplay of it looks really fantastic.
Yeah, my understanding of this is that the reboot changed Ratchet and Clank's actual relationship with each other, whereas in the original game they kind of fucking hated each other and like
They
they wouldn't that never stopped happening. Like they were always like fighting with each other. Whereas with the reboot, it sounds like they completely did like a 180 with that, and they're like immediately like best friends, blah blah blah. Like
Well, they
not
have, like,
really.
that relationship where they love each other or, like,
Hmm.
they're best friends, but, they just get on each other's fucking nerves. Like, how long can you
Yeah,
stay with that's everybody, right? You stay with somebody
yeah,
for so long before they start getting on
hmm
your fucking nerves, and that's what it was like in the original games. They really cared for each other, but it was just like an, asshole friendship. Like, "I like you,
mm,
but I'm around you literally 24/7. Please leave me the fuck alone."
yeah, yeah,
This game, they kinda yeah, like you're right, in the remake or the reboot rather, they kinda, I don't wanna say Disney-fied it, but they kinda like I'll say DreamWorks-fied it. They kinda made it more kid-friendly as far as the relationship, uh,
mm,
and they made it more, streamlined.
yeah,
I'm old school. I like things that kinda take a slow grind to get to where we
hmm
need to get to as far as character development and things of that nature. Always been that type of person. Um
yeah,
But I mean, I understand it for like newer fans, like people need to digest stuff faster. So you got to kind of up the writing or kind of update your writing for that. And
hmm
I think that's just my biggest thing is like writing and the mood that was set for the previous games. Like everything was really Futurama ish, if that makes any sense. Like it was really like that.
mm, hmm
Um, and they
oh yeah,
they're
yeah,
very self aware. They had very self aware jokes, fourth wall breaking jokes. It was just a really cool franchise to be playing. Whereas this one, it feels more so Jack and Daxter-ish, if that makes any
mm,
sense. And
okay,
uh, I like Jack and Daxter a lot, but their writing was weak to me compared to like Ratchet and Clank and everything of that nature.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, there was some. Remember that they had the movie before the reboot came out,
yeah,
that released in theaters, and I have a feeling that would probably influence this. And maybe the fact that that didn't do so well will kind of make them go back to the old style of Ratchet and Clank. I guess we'll find out, but I think from a gameplay standpoint, this game actually looks fucking
Yeah,
bonkers.
really fucking cool.
The, the the quick loading of between like different worlds and all this shit that was happening in the trailer that they showed, fucking looks sick, man. So I'm not. I've never played a Ratchet and Clank game, so I don't know. Like, the gameplay doesn't really super appeal to me, but I almost want to give this one a shot just because of like technologically what they're trying to pull off with it. Because this feels like the first game we're gonna get that is truly a PS5 exclusive, like a game that cannot be played on a PS4. You know,
Yeah.
and just that alone intrigues me, as well as some of the other stuff with the gameplay and whatnot that they showed. The physics seem like pretty nuts too, actually.
Yeah, I mean, that's always been a staple, in my opinion, to the Ratchet and Clank games. Not the technical prowess, but the wackiness of the weapons you get. Each
Mhm,
game, like, just brought something really different with the. Yeah, it was like a standard third person shooter type deal, but like the weapons are just crazy in what you can do with them. And that was the
mhm.
main appeal of the Ratchet and Clank games. My favorite was like Deadlocked, which was an online multiplayer game as well, but it had a full fledged single player game. They kind of tacked the multiplayer on there, and up your arsenal. So I mean, even the names was like kind of funny, like up your arsenal and shit. But like
Yeah, right, yeah.
uh, so I am like from a gameplay perspective, this game looks exactly what I want from a Ratchet and Clank game. It's just I want this. I would like my old story back, and I know I'm old as shit, so I'm not gonna get that. So it's like I understand they rebooted it for the current generation of gamers, and hopefully they love Ratchet and Clank as much as I did when I was growing up.
Fair enough. All right, we got a few more here. The next game is 12 minutes. Now, this is a game I have on here. Again, this is a speculative one. I don't know if this game is coming out this year. This is one that's been in development for a long time. I first heard about it in 2015, and I've heard about it pretty much every year since, but it's just continuously not come out year after year. So I'm putting it here fully knowing that it may not come out this year, but this game's premise is really fucking interesting. It's literally you are playing out 12 minutes of a person's life where there's just this butterfly effect of different things that can happen based on
Yeah,
what
I
you
saw
do in those
that.
12 minutes.
Yeah.
And yeah, that sounds like really fucking cool, actually. Because yeah, the appeal of a game that has multiple endings is always interesting to me, because for a game like Persona, right, that has multiple endings, you have to play through such a large portion of the game again to get those multiple endings. Whereas like this is like a thing where you're getting the kind of rush of different results happening based on your actions really quickly. I feel like this is going to be a game where you're going through and it's like 5 minutes even is like one run through the game. So yeah, and actually I did hear some news recently that there's actually some pretty high end voice talent getting attached to this game now too. So this seems to be picking up steam in terms of its quality, as well. So I'm still hotly anticipating this one, but like I said, caveat, not sure it's coming out this year. So Montreal, have you ever checked this one out or no?
Yeah, I actually did check this one out. I'm looking forward to this game. It's one of those games where I'm buy it and probably play it a couple times.
Mhm.
But I don't know why I like the game. It just looks really cool. I thought it was like a detective type game. But
Mhm.
yeah, it is like you're living the last 12 seconds of someone's life. And
Yep.
I actually like those little games like that. I don't know why, but I think it's like really cool when little games like this make big impacts. And this seems like it's going to be one of those games that just makes a huge impact. I think it's
Yeah.
an indie game almost type deal.
It is. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's being made by one dude, so
Oh,
that's why it's taking so long.
okay.
Like as far as I know, when I heard about this game originally, he said he was a full time developer at a studio and he was making this game on the side. So, like, I think that's why it's taking so long. But who knows at this point where he's at with it? He could be working on it full time now, for all we know. But yeah, looking forward to it for sure. All right, next one we have is State of Decay 3. Um, which I'm not sure. Yeah, we do have that was dated last year, right?
I think it was
Microsoft
just slated for this year.
for this year.
Yeah, I think it was
So,
just slated
do you
for
think there could be a delay?
yeah, I think so. A
Okay.
lot of people they had mixed reception on the second one. The first one
Mhm.
everyone fucking loved.
Yeah.
myself. I loved it. I didn't really play the second one, unfortunately, but the first one I loved it. Came out around that Walking Dead time when Walking Dead was like at its peak. I was looking
Mm.
for a
Hmm.
game like that, and State of Decay came out, and you have your squad, and they all have, or you get an initial squad, and then you find more people and you build settlements, and you have to go to certain like houses, or you have to gather resources across the land that you're in, and it's an open world game, and you can send people off. The interesting thing about this game is when you send people off, they actually go off. Like it's not like a
Yeah.
behind the scenes type deal. There's like you actually see the character get up, run across the wall, and go to that house. You can actually,
Yeah, you can go with them if you
yeah,
want.
exactly. You can go with them if you
Yeah.
want,
Yeah.
or you can help them, and they can, depending on how the world of the game is, they can die out there. Whether you be whether it be you because you brought a horde of zombies their way, or they just randomly died out there, or like they ran into another faction, they got killed or something of that nature. And there is no main character. Like the character that you start out with, he can die. He can die, and then it just switch to another character, and it's
Yep.
like you're just managing the party and the story is still going along. You're finding out everything with the party, but it's like you're living almost with like I don't know how to describe it because there is no main character, which sounds like really unappealing. But it's like you're just managing a party of people and you're building this settlement. It's almost like one of those little cell phone games. I can't remember like the name of those games, but like without all the pay to win bullshit. Like you're actually playing the game,
Yeah.
and it's not overhead like an overhead isometric game. It's an actual third person shooter or
Mhm.
beat 'em up, whatever kind of weapon you have. You can have a gun or you can have
Mhm.
stuff. But when you use a gun, it's loud and it can draw crowds of zombies to you. So there's like drawbacks between using stuff. Uh, and there's stealth in it. When you fight certain monsters, they make certain types of noise. When you open up certain doors, they make noise. Like it's a really in-depth game, and that's why I like it
Mhm.
so much. I thought the State of Decay was just mind blowing as far as like an actual zombie apocalyptic game. Uh,
Yeah.
and this was made by an indie studio that just so happened to got picked up by Xbox. Xbox was like, "Hey, like, come on over." Um, but I feel like it was really underrated when it came out, and a lot of people actually played it when they released it on PC, and that's how it got Steam. So I'm really, now that they have the full force of Microsoft behind them, I'm really interested to see if they're going to do a State of Decay 3 because they did that with one game. They did that with the
Yeah.
first game with like little to no money, and they were an indie studio, and that game turned
Mhm.
out phenomenal. So
Yeah, the State of Decay always appealed to me, because I like the idea of playing like a settlement and you don't really play like a specific person
yeah,
the whole time unless you can keep yourself alive with that person. I like the idea of that because it just sounds like a really unique take on zombie survival games, right?
yeah,
But I think the potential in this series is actually really, really fucking high. Where like you can get really nerdy with this shit. Where like to the point where I'm sitting here thinking about like role playing within this game, right?
yeah,
Because
yeah,
you can like say you can play certain characters, right? You play that character and you as a player decide to play that character in a certain way, right? Where you like play them kind of like as a murderer, where they're like trying to kill everybody in the settlement, and then the people in the settlement like eventually as the AI like try to figure out what's going on, and it's like that is kind of the like ultimate potential of this series to me is like you can get to that point where you can almost craft your own game out of it, where it's like the point is survival, but you can make it about other things if you want, or you could play it where you just play it straight, where you're like, the character you're playing as is kind of the leader and like determines what everyone does, or you could just play it as like you're just one of the guys, you just go out on missions, and someone else leads or something like that. So there's a lot they could do with this series, and I would really like to see them explore some of that. I think, but I've not played it, so I don't know how much of that is even in two that they did. So I may try this game. It's always intrigued me. I really want to see kind of what they do with it, for sure. So I'm very interested, just like you, to see what they do with Microsoft's money, how that improves the series, and if it does improve the series. So we'll see. Hopefully, it does make it this year. And all right, let's move on to our final game on the list. Is Ease 9 Monstrum Nox. Um, I've never played an Ys game. I know what they are. My brother always tells me to play them, but I've never gotten around to one. But Montreal, you had this on your list, so what are you anticipating about it?
So they showed some recent combat trailer footage of it. So first of all, I haven't played the YS games uh, at all. I've always been intrigued by them myself. I don't know why I just never jumped into it. Maybe I just never had enough time. Like maybe if I was in college, I would probably just buy these games and just use it to pass the time between studying or some shit.
Mm-hmm.
But what's interesting about this game is, I believe this is the game where you can switch characters on the fly. You can have a
Okay,
party and you can, but from what I'm looking at, this game, this is not that one. This is when you have an actual party with you. So it's like a
kind
actual,
of looks like Tails, actually.
yeah, it looks like Tails. You have an actual party with you. But there's another YS game that's coming out as well where you actually have, it's one person on screen, almost like Genshin Impact. It is like Genshin Impact. Have one person on the screen, but you have four people in your party and you rotate them like that. So,
Okay, yeah.
um, I thought that concept was pretty cool. I like that concept for Genshin Impact, and I'm really interested in seeing what like an actual studio would do with that kind of concept. I'm actually thinking a lot of people are going to take that gameplay style. I wouldn't be surprised if a side Final Fantasy game takes that kind of gameplay style as well and put their own
Mhm.
little spin on it because it is a very interesting concept of having one character on screen but four people in your party with you and switch on the
Yeah,
fly. Um, I
yeah.
don't know if any other games have done that. Maybe I'm just like really.
Oh man, this is why I've never played an Ys game though. I'm looking at this trailer, man, and like these character designs are just so generic looking. They just have like no, they just don't look like they have like no personality to them at all to me. But maybe that's being unfair. But I don't know. It just kind of looks like budget tales, and I don't know. Like, like I said, that might be mean of me, but that's just kind of the vibe I'm getting
Oh,
watching
like
watching this
this is the
gameplay.
game
But
actually because they are doing on the fly switching, so you can call like your characters up as summons. It looks like, and they could be on the screen with
Mhm.
you, but you could also switch characters on the fly. So this is the game I'm talking about. Then I'm watching the trailer
Got it.
now, so uh, yeah, like I don't know, that looks pretty cool to me. I like that combat style. So like you like Genshin Impact, you're probably like this game. It'll be a more single player as game though.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's just like the environments I'm seeing here are just like really not that detailed. It's
Yeah,
like, yeah, the game clearly does not have a very high budget, for sure. But the series, I mean, has had 9 games, so clearly it's doing something right. So there must be something super fun about it, that I'm missing out on. So I don't know. I might check it out. Is there any co-op in it or no?
I don't think so. I think it's a single player game.
Got it. Okay. Well, I might check it out. Like I said, my brother's always been telling me to, so I may give it a shot. Okay, well, that's the list of games. That was 29 games that we just talked about, guys. We did it. We made it. We managed to not get to 2 hours. However, I got a little bonus segment here. So I have some speculation that I wanted to kind of run past you, Montrell, here. So I think, and if you have anything you want to throw in afterwards too, please do. So I definitely think Fire Emblem. I think Intelligent Systems is going to announce the remakes or remasters of the Tellius games from GameCube and Wii. So that'd be Path of Radiance and Radiant Dawn. I think they're going to announce them and release them this year. Why do I think this? I mean, I'm just speculating. However, there is some reason to think this could happen because, first of all, they haven't released the Fire Emblem game in 2 years. Three Houses will be 2 years old in July, I think. And they did not release a game last year, which Intelligent Systems, the last time they've gone 3 full years without releasing a Fire Emblem game, I think was pre-Awakening. So it's been a long time since they've done that. So I actually have a feeling we're gonna get something this year. Maybe it's not Telly's remasters, maybe it's not. But I feel like something's gonna happen. Maybe it's a Thracia remake or something like that. I don't know. One of the older games. They might do that too. But
More Fire Emblem Heroes content, bro. What are you talking
this would be the easiest way for them to release a game this year, though, because these games hold up. They don't really need to do too much to them. They can kind of just port them, and throw them out there in a collection. Like I really don't think they need to do very much. So I feel like it's the easiest way for them to make some money this year and have a Fire Emblem release. And like you said, tie it into Fire Emblem Heroes, you know, fucking of course. So they always have to have something for that game, you know, going. Which is why I don't think Intelligent Systems is really trying to have very large gaps between releases. They like I said, they haven't really done that in like 10 years. So yeah, that's my first prediction. I mean, what do you think? Do you think that's realistic?
I think so. I think I don't know. I think what I really want is some of the Game Boy game or the Game Boy Advance games to be re-released.
Mm,
Um, I feel like
yeah, but that'd be full. That'd probably be full remake territory,
you think so?
and I don't know if they're in there into that or not.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I guess you're right.
We'll
But,
see.
yeah, we'll see.
Maybe they are.
What's the second thing you got?
Second one I got is Breath of the Wild 2.
All right, that's it.
So
That's it for the show, guys.
no. Hold on. I think this game's coming out this year.
Okay.
Because think about it. It's been a couple years since they announced it, and it's been 4 years now almost since the first game came out, right? I mean, it's been a while. And I would really think they're using the same engine. I really would feel like they'd be able to turn this around, you know, fairly quickly. Now, I'm not saying it's coming out next month. I think this could be a late year release for Nintendo, though, like sometime in October or November, potentially.
Let me see
Um,
something real quick here. Oh, keep talking. I'm listening. It has
but
researching has to do with this.
yeah, I don't know if I'd be excited for it or not. Like I said, I'm not a huge fan of Breath of the Wild, but um, given the concept, it sounds like we're going underneath Hyrule potentially is what they were doing. So there's a lot they could do with that, which is kind of interesting to me. So there is some appeal for sure
Okay.
with it. But what are you looking up
All
right
right.
now?
So I think that's a realistic timetable. I just looked up the last game. I think to have a direct sequel to it, Zelda. As far as that, I'm talking about as far as current Zeldas. I know there were like Zelda 1 and then Zelda 2 that took place in the same universe.
Yeah.
But as far as the same hero, the same Link,
Hmm.
Ocarina of Time. So Ocarina of Time came out in 1998, and then Majora's Mask came out in 2000. So I think it is a realistic timetable for them to turn around the game, and those use the same assets. And I'm assuming Majora's Mask, or I'm sorry, I'm assuming Breath of the Wild 2 is going to use the same assets, but
A lot of them,
obviously,
yeah.
yeah, the world they have the engine already in place, so they don't have to really do the physics too much. Besides, update
Right.
it to wherever type of stuff is going to be to make it.
Whatever they add,
Yeah.
yeah, new stuff they add, right?
So yeah, I think that's realistic. I can see them making an announcement in June and then releasing
Yeah.
it in November.
Yeah. So I do think it's going to happen. That's my prediction. What about you? Do you have any predictions? I know I'm putting you on the spot here. I put
I
this
actually
together.
have no predictions. Uh,
Okay.
I think we
Fair enough.
might get a maybe some type of news for Anthem, and
Oh yeah.
I think
Yeah. I would hope. God, I'd hope so, dude.
yeah, it's been
Shit.
what 2 years.
Yeah. 2 years.
Yeah, so I think maybe we'll get some type of news for that. And I'm not holding my breath. Maybe a release date for Dragon Age within 2022, 2023. They may announce a date for
Mm-hmm.
that. Um,
God, man. Yeah, I'd hope so with that one too. You know, at least a release window,
yeah,
like a year potentially. It's got to be next year, right?
I, don't-
You would think.
I honestly
Because,
think
dude,
they
if it's
just.
not, when are we getting Mass Effect? If it's not, then we're not getting Mass Effect till what, 2025,
I think they
2026?
honestly, Justin. I think they just started working on these games. I
They
think.
they did.
I think.
Dragon Age they've been working on for at least 2 years though.
Yeah, but I mean, Dragon Age came out in 2014. 20, yeah,
Yeah.
2014. They should have been
Mhm.
working on another Dragon Age, but I think they poured all their marbles into all
Into
their
Anthem.
into Anthem.
Yeah.
Um,
God, what a horrible situation.
I do think though, since we got Lucas Arts games, I do think we're gonna get some kind of Kotor esque type game. I just can't see them not. That's one of their. I think
Yeah.
that's one of Star Wars' biggest franchises. Like
Mhm.
that would be a
Yes.
guaranteed million.
No, KOTOR 3 is definitely somewhere It's just we don't know where, like
Yeah.
who has it or who's gonna make it. I'm with you. I think that there's a high likelihood of that, for sure. Um, I do have one more. What do you think about? You think we're gonna get a Switch Pro announcement?
Yes, I would be
You
highly
think so?
surprised if we don't.
Okay, I agree. I do agree with you, but Nintendo is weird, and they may just be like, "Fuck it, we don't need a Switch Pro." You know, we're the Switch. We're Nintendo. You know,
I would be, you know
Pro.
what? I want to throw this out there. I don't. This would be actually be cool. It wouldn't require anything. I think we'll get like an updated dock to where they're like, if you want to play some of the updated games, they'll work
Mm,
on handheld, but to get the advanced version of it, you got to get an updated
mhm.
dock. So it might be like a 4K version of the dock or some shit like that.
Okay,
And I
I
think
can
that would
see
be
that.
cool. I can do
That'd
that.
be interesting. Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, that'd be
I
cool.
don't think they're gonna do
We'll
a
see.
full, or they may just do a whole upgrade. Like they may upgrade the whole handheld version because the technology has advanced in the last 5 years, and they may do a
Yeah.
whole upgraded version of it.
Dude, it's just wild to me though, like an upgrade because like the Switch has never had a price drop. That is like almost unprecedented in video games, dude. To go 4 years without dropping the price of your console, it is still $299.99.
You gotta
Like
think about it, Justin. It's two consoles in one. It's your Game Boy and it's your
true,
and
true. No, and that's why it sells and the fact they don't need to drop the price cuz it continues to sell like crazy, dude. MPD numbers I think for last month I saw were which we'll probably talk about this in next week's episode was like they sold like almost twice as many as consoles as PS5 and Xbox Series X together like combined.
yeah,
Now, that's production, some of that is production issues, but that's still fucking nuts,
that is
dude.
nuts.
Like
I
they're selling almost a million units a month.
because
Like
it's to me, it's one of those. It is your 3DS. It's your companion system. Like
mhm,
if you can have everyone's an Xbox or PlayStation fanboy or a PC fanboy, but one thing that we can all agree is, yeah, I got a Switch too. Like everyone
yeah,
says that.
right.
Yeah, I have a Switch.
Yeah, you're right. You're totally right. And that's been the case with me for Nintendo forever, but I think the Switch was the thing that really made that true for everyone.
Yeah,
Like because there's no reason not to have it, you know? It's like it doesn't really require space in your TV stand if you don't want it to, you know? Like if you don't want to put it on the dock, you can just keep the dock in the box and use it as a handheld. Like that's why it's so appealing. But I mean, it's a stroke of genius. It's one of the best devices ever made in gaming, probably. And yeah, so a pro version,
oh,
I don't know if I'd buy
I'm
it.
sorry.
To be honest with you, I haven't been using my Switch very much lately.
I haven't either.
Um,
It's just because of I have games I need to play on there, but it's just like I haven't really. I've been home a lot and stuff like that, so it's like I don't really need to
right,
play it.
exactly.
But I was laughing at your comment because people are gonna be like, "Well, the Vita is the technology they copied." And blah, blah, blah."
Oh, look, I love the Vita. I do. I love the Vita, but let it go, guys. Okay, it was a failure. It was a failure. Okay,
Justin,
just let it go.
it was a console in your hands too. You know how powerful it was. Oh my god, bro.
It was no, to be honest, dude. It was crazy. It was like a PS3 in your
Yeah,
hand. It was fucking nuts, dude. Like, I am still astonished by the Vita to this day. Like, it is still like it holds up as a device, straight up, right now. Like in terms of its power and how it functions. Like, the thing was insane. But just the way Sony marketed it and the games that were coming out on it, just they had nothing for it. You know, it was an indie game machine, and ultimately that wasn't enough to carry the thing. You know, sadly.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I mean the Switch is probably the best handheld we've ever had in gaming. Which and I don't say that lightly, by the way. Like the DS is no joke. Like the library that thing has is absolutely insane. And the GBA is legitimately one of my favorite things ever. You know, I love the games on the GBA.
yeah.
So, but I can't really deny how like innovative the Switch is though, in terms of what it does and just the games it has. Like it's crazy, dude.
Yeah,
So
and
I don't know.
this was the first year I actually docked my Switch, and man, like it's a night and day difference. Like
Yeah.
it is a. That's why I don't think they need a Switch Pro. I think they're just really going to opt for, hey, we got this upgraded dock. That's going to be the Switch Pro if you want to play games
Yeah.
in high capacity or whatever. And
Yeah, dude. And if they charge like 100 for it or something, I'd probably buy it,
yeah,
actually. I really would. Like I said, a new Switch for 300 or 350, I probably wouldn't buy. But yeah, a new dock, I might be up for that. You
Yeah,
know.
I can see them doing that.
So,
Um,
yeah, we'll see. Be interesting. I'm sure we'll get some. I think we're gonna get something.
yeah,
But all right. Well, that's enough with our rampant speculation. We are done for this week, guys. 29 games we have talked about, plus a few predictions as well. So we hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please like the episode, review the show, and subscribe to the show on whatever feed you are listening to it on, and please share it with your friends. We are looking to grow the audience as always. If you'd like to interact with us, either of us on Twitter, you can do so at iTrapTheHokage for Montrell. That is the number 4, not the word. I'm at Thunderdot01. The show is at the Player's Take. If you'd like to send us questions, like I said at the beginning of the show, you can send it to us on Twitter, or you can send us an email to theplayerstake01@gmail.com. And then, like I said at the beginning as well, next week we'll be back to news, the normal run of the show, games we're playing, all that stuff. And please remember the questions Montrell mentioned at the beginning. If you would love to send us your answers to those, we will read them next week on the show. And any other questions you have, we will read on the show as well, and we will answer. We really would like to become an interactive podcast that really interacts with its audience. That's what we're looking to do down the road. So please throw some questions. We'd love it. Okay. Well, Montrell, you got anything else?
nope.
Awesome. So we're good. All right, guys. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you on the next one. All right. Bye.